All right, so let's jump right in. When you hear the phrase cardinal virtues, what do you picture? For a lot of us, it's probably some dusty, boring list of rules, right? Well, today, we're going to look at them through a totally different lens, the lens of philosopher Josef Pieper. He argued they're not restrictions at all. Instead, they're the actual architectural blueprint for building a genuinely good and meaningful life. It's a question that, honestly, we all wrestle with. And our modern world has plenty of answers, but Piper would say they're maybe a little thin, that we've kind of lost the script and forgotten the incredible depth of what these virtues were originally all about. And you can really see that gap right here. Our modern take tends to water these ideas down. We think prudence is just about playing it safe. We think justice is about getting my slice of the pie. Fortitude becomes this macho, reckless thing, and temperance is just, don't overdo it. But the classical view, wow, that's a whole different ballgame, and it's so much more powerful. So let's start with the cornerstone, the one Piper calls the mother of all virtues, prudence. And no, this has nothing to do with being timid or cautious. Far from it. This is about being the master architect of your own character. So what is it, really? Well, think of it as a two-part mission. First, you have to be able to see a situation for what it actually is, with total clarity, no wishful thinking. And second, you have to be able to take that crystal clear knowledge and translate it into effective, good action in the real world. Man, this quote from Piper just nails it. It tells us that good intentions on their own are not enough. You can have the best heart in the world, but if you're clueless about what's actually going on, your actions could completely backfire. You can't actually do good if you're disconnected from the truth. Okay, so how do we get more prudent? Well, Piper lays out a roadmap. It starts with quiet contemplation, just seeing things without our biases getting in the way. It needs a memory that's true to what happened, not the story we tell ourselves. It needs something the ancients called docilitas, which is really just a fancy word for being humble and open-minded enough to take good advice. And finally, you need solertia, a kind of nimble, quick thinking that lets you size up a surprise situation and make the right call fast. It's a pretty serious skill set. So, if prudence is the architect with the blueprints, then justice is the actual structure we build. It's the framework of our entire social world, governing every single one of our relationships. Now, here's the absolute key to understanding justice. It's not about me. It's not about what do I deserve. It's a deeply ingrained habit of focusing on the other person and asking what is owed to them, and then having the will to make sure they get it. It's all about settling our accounts with others. And this is the question you have to ask before you can act justly. Before you can give someone their due, you first have to figure out what exactly is rightfully theirs. And that right might come from a promise or a contract, or it might be something more fundamental, a right they have simply because they're a person. This diagram actually makes it super clear. Justice works in three directions. You've got justice between two people. That's commutative justice, like a fair deal. Then you have distributive justice. That's what the community as a whole owes to each individual in it. And finally, legal justice flips that around. It's what each of us owes back to the community. You need all three for society to work. Okay, we've got the architect and the structure of our building. But any good building needs reinforcements, right? It needs things that protect it. And that is exactly the job of fortitude and temperance. Now, this is a really crucial distinction. Prudence and justice are out there building the good life. Fortitude and temperance are playing defense. Think of them as the security detail for your character, standing guard to protect everything you've built. And they each have their own post. Fortitude is the guard on the outer wall. It handles threats from the outside. It's the willingness to endure hardship, to face down your fear so that you can hold on to what's good. Temperance, on the other hand, is the guard on the inside. It handles the threats that come from within us, our own selfish, chaotic desires. And let's get something straight about fortitude. It is not fearlessness. A truly brave person knows that getting hurt is a bad thing. They just refuse to let fear make them do something wrong. And it's definitely not about being reckless. Fortitude always has to be guided by prudence, by that clear-eyed view of reality. It's knowing when to patiently endure and knowing when it's time to attack injustice. Temperance is also way more than the boring word moderation. It's about creating a peaceful, orderly world inside yourself. It's a kind of selfless self-preservation.
It takes all our powerful primal urges for food, pleasure, sex, and makes sure they're pointed in a healthy direction so that we don't end up destroying ourselves from the inside out.
So when you put them all together, prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance, you see that it's not just a list. It's a complete, unified system, an entire architecture for a good life. And the whole thing has one single goal: to help us see reality as it truly is, and then act on that truth to do good. And Piper leaves us with this final, really powerful thought. Maybe being a good person isn't about inventing our own moral rules from scratch. Maybe it's about being humble enough and virtuous enough to discover a plan for goodness that's already there, just waiting to be revealed to us. It's a pretty profound idea to chew on, isn't it? What would change if we lived that way?